Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Free agent wide receiver Tyler Boyd is visiting the Tennessee Titans this week. Boyd posted on social media last night from downtown Nashville. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported that Boyd met with the Chargers earlier this week. The 29-year-old played for Titans coach Brian Callahan in Cincinnati for 4 seasons. NHL playoffs, the Edmonton Oilers have moved past the LA Kings with a 4-3 win last night in Game 5. So they await the winner between Preds and Canucks. Game 6 tomorrow night in Nashville. The Canucks lead at 3-2. College baseball, Tennessee begins a series at Florida tonight at 6 p.m. You can hear the Vol Network call right here on The Zone. For your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Let's go. Thursday edition of Blaine and Mickey. We just go ahead and start the weekend. It's after. I say this all the time. It's afternoon on Thursday. Nashville's a big Thursday town. Blaine, you remember this. Well, you were footballing, but not in the summertime. I mean, you were training, but not like every. Anyway, here's what I'm getting at. Do you remember?
Yeah, I was around.
You were around. Do you remember the concerts that they had on Thursday called Dancing in the District? You just go downtown. Now, Bananas has no idea what we're talking about. They would just have these amazing concerts for free downtown on the river. And it wasn't so hard to get around down there like it is now. There weren't nearly as many people. It'd be 30,000 people down there, and it'd just be 30,000 people from around here who would go down there. And the few tourists who were straggling along out of, the clubs, out of Tootsie's and wherever, they might come down there. Man, Thursday night was the night. Thursday was happening. I didn't always make Friday fun. But Thursday night, you go down there.
It was Friday recovery.
Just in time to have your whole weekend then.
Well, tonight, the first of 3 Morgan Wallen concerts begins. Tomorrow night's going to be real popping. The install, Morgan Wallen concert, the Preds playoff game. It's going to be wild. Especially about that time that everyone starts to get out. The Preds game ends, and especially if they win, and then the Morgan Wallen concert ends, Broadway's going to be jumping.
Yeah, it's already jumping. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. That could be the only wild card is if it were to rain. I'm not trying to put that voodoo on anybody, but if it's not, it is going to be.
It is supposed to rain on Friday. So.
Okay. Well, Blaine knows I keep one eye on the weather all the time.
85% chance as of right now.
It is going to be peak Nashville tomorrow night. So if you're going to see Morgan Waller, you need to Waller on down and see him tonight if you can. It's going to be good weather, and you can maybe avoid a few people. Maybe you just want to be down there to see people. That's up to you. Roger says in the F&M Bank chat, they need to bring those concerts back. That was a lot of fun. Jamie says, I remember. I got the chance to see Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams played that thing. Everybody played it. That's good times. Maybe if we still had Dancing in the District, Tyler Boyd would sign with the Titans. Maybe if they told him, like, hey, man, we're going to go see Bryan Adams for free down on the river tonight. Then Morgan Wallen not for free. Then tomorrow we'll take you to the Preds game. You think that'd do it for him, Blaine? Free Bryan Adams concert, Courtney Love.
I think that would close the deal. Yeah, you gotta be the who's who of Tennessee and who's all there. But yeah, I think that would close the deal. You know the coach, you know the playbook. You got to be promised that you're going to be number 3, and that very rarely happens. But it's wink, wink, nod, nod. You are the 3. Because you would say that only because, you got a guy named Burks, NWI, you got some guys who have played here. Some come on when, underachieved, and some have overachieved. So you just got to make sure you know what you're getting into, and especially a guy who's going on year 9 that says, hey, I only have so many, steps and routes in me so far, and I'm still productive as a number 3 in this league. So I would make sure that that's pretty well understood if I was coming to the Titans, even though he knows Callahan, which is always great, knowing the playbook and everything. But, the Chargers are pursuing them, and I think, you look at their roster and who's on there, you say, man, I regardless
you're
of the
him,
playbook,
yeah.
you're looking at it, like, hey, I think I can be a 2 there.
Y'all want to hear who's on the Chargers roster?
Go ahead.
Just for comparison.
I would like to hear that.
So, number one, okay, so this is from ESPN's updated depth chart for the Chargers. Number 1 wide receiver, Josh Palmer. Number 2 wide receiver, Quentin Johnston. Number 3 wide receiver, Ladd McConkey. Then after that, you have Darius Davis, Simi Fehoko, Brendan Rice, Cornelius Johnson, Jalen Johnson, and Jalen Gill.
Ooh.
I know about 4 of those names.
Oh, I know Palmer. I mean, man, right now he looks like he's the most proven guy. I like Palmer too, by the way. I know I think he's a 2-3 on most rosters. Mm-hmm. If you go look at his stats too, and I think solid player.
It's a 3rd round pick for them. They spent some capital
solid
to get him.
player. I watched him so much at UT there. Man, he had Mickey Mouse hands. He had some big, strong hands. Really like that. I'm interested to see if he's kind of improved on his route running, being a bigger, kind of stockier guy.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, he run after catch. He has good enough speed. Just got to continue to perfect your craft as a receiver, as a route runner. And I think the sky's the limit. I think he's a good, solid player. I think he can have a Tyler Boyd type, career. Yeah, which is solid. That's not Pro Bowl or, all pro, but I think he can, do really well. Now that he's going to get an opportunity now, stay healthy, get some luck on your side. I like him.
Let's say that the money is the same
for Boyd,
for Titans and Chargers for Boyd. In his mind, what situation is better? The one where you have a chance to be a number 2, or the one where you know the playbook, you know the coach, and you're guaranteed a number 3?
Well, what's the contract? If you say it's the same, like 3-year, 1 year.
Let's just say
I think that matters.
Let's just say each one of give him a 1-year contract. Just in terms of all else equal, looking at the situation, who's the better situation for Tyler Boyd?
Like 1 year 7 with incentives. I'm just throwing a number.
Yeah,
I'm literally just making up a number.
Yeah, it could be 1 year 5 with incentives of 7, 8.
Well, if I'm him, I know who I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I come to the Titans, if I go to the Chargers, like you were saying, I may be number 2. I got to learn a whole new system. I'm probably going to get some attention because people think, well, I'm not guarding that guy. I got Quentin Johnson. Felt like a reach last year, had 38 catches. But if I'm him, I think I got a good quarterback throwing me the ball. That's a pro there. I may be the number 1 guy here. Now I'm older, half step slower, whatever. Maybe I'm number 2. But if I go to the Titans, I'll truly be the slot guy. I'll play exactly where I'm supposed to play. I know the offense. None of those dudes do. I will be ahead of everybody in the building. Now, maybe he likes Will Levis and has seen. I mean, obviously, he's a free agent. He can talk to Brian Callahan anytime he wants. What's the deal on Will Levis? So he would have some idea what he was getting into, but he would think, if I go there, I'm number 3. I got 2 outside guys who are
really good.
One's a Hall of Famer. The other one's really good and really fast. I could work like a mofo in the middle of the field, and a young quarterback probably throw me the ball because he knows where I'm going to be because I'm the only one that knows the offense yet.
Yeah. I think it's about his own preference. I don't think he can go wrong with either, to be honest. I would lean towards like Mickey, going where you always, as an athlete, want to go where you're comfortable. And, you know the offense, you know the coach, you want some familiarity. You want to have that kind of feeling where you don't feel like everything is, oh, man, if I do something wrong, oh, man, I drop a ball, I may not be out there to yank me or whatever, because the coaches just don't know you.
Right.
So, I don't know. If I came to the Titans, I got to be guaranteed I'm number 3, only because, you got Burks and NWI and some guys who've played in this league and are somewhat on his level, and he knows he's at year 9. So that's a tough one. It's a tough one here. I think there's a part of him, I don't know him personally, but when you've always been kind of that 3, even if you're in year 9, you might want to show that I can be a 2. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing a 1-year deal, that's why I said I think it matters. He's in a prove-it deal. So if he goes to a team with unestablished players, maybe he gets more opportunity to get the rock. But, sometimes you ask for something, you may not really want that because he may get there and he's really not a 2 if he goes to the Chargers.
Right.
He could disappoint. Where here, he knows he's a 3 and that's it, and he's going to get at least 50 catches, and he's going to then be able to get another contract somewhere. So if I came to the Titans, you know what I want? 3-year deal. I want a 3-year deal.
And it may come down to that. The Chargers may go 1 for 7, and he goes to Callahan and goes, look, man, I'll go there 1 for 7 if you want me, because he knows if he signs a 3, he knows it's a 2.
And
right.
the Chargers will probably give a slightly bigger number knowing the income tax.
And the Titans...
better taxes here.
Better taxes here, yeah.
Somebody asked in the chat, what's the Titans cap situation? They're still 4th in cap space.
Yeah.
They got $30 million. So do the Chargers. They're 5th. So the Chargers got a little money to throw at him, too.
Yeah, so I think he's going to play it right. He's a pretty sharp dude, and he's waited this long. You know, you continue to make sure you're going to a place that you know your role. So, and if I'm him, I'm going on year 9. Is it 9 or 10?
This year 9.
Yeah, you don't want to be bouncing around. I mean, at this point, because you know you're going to get clipped at some point because just the laws of average, if you get to over 10, you're going to get cut. So I'd want to go somewhere where they know me. That could buy me an extra year. That's why you always see veteran players. Use like Harry Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he came here. He played 2 years. He could have done those same 2 years with the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? He had the same role. Then 1 year he was the coach. He was the coach that was dressed. You know, so you got to look kind of those things too. So I'd just be interested to see where his mind is at.
He's coming off a 4-year, $43 million contract with the Bengals, his second contract. So he had his first 4, then he had his second 4. So he's put back a little dough in his day. Mm-hmm. Had a couple 1,000-yard seasons for the Bengals. Buck's going to join us next, and we'll talk to Buck, and we can ask him this. But we got a lot of time today on the show to take phone calls. I'm curious. Again, we have Buck coming up next. But in the second hour, let's get into this. Do Titans fans want this guy? Because everybody that I see on Twitter is like, heck yeah, sign him. I want this to happen. Okay, so then what do you want to happen to Burks?
What happened to
him?
Phillips?
Screw him. What do you want to happen to Phillips? Oh, screw him. Cut him. I want to hear what people say about this. Again, Buck is next. We'll talk to Buck. Then I want to talk to everybody else about this.
I'll put a poll out too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think Titans, now some of it is, I want everybody. I want every player. Right. Oh, this guy used to be a Bengal. I liked him. I want this guy. It's almost like a kid at Christmas where you look at the Christmas catalog back in the day and you go, I want this and this and this. But well, we got plenty of time to get into it. We'll do it. We'll get into it with Buck next. We'll talk to Buck Reising about this. Then we don't have any more guests today, so we can talk with you about this, make plans to reopen dancing in the district. We got time to do it all today. It is the Thursday edition of Blaine and Mickey, and every day Blaine and Mickey is brought to you and powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors.
Allergy season is upon us, and pollen is in the air. But fear not, Cool-Ray has your back. Our $49 tune-up will have your HVAC system running smoothly, keeping allergens at bay. Plus, enjoy 10% off indoor air quality products for an extra boost. So are you ready to say goodbye to your old HVAC system? Well, with Cool-Ray, it's out with the old and in with the new. And we'll even give you $1,000 for your old system when you upgrade with us. That's right, we'll pay you to breathe easier. So Tennessee, unpredictable weather, it's crucial to be prepared. That's where our whole home generators come in. With $1,500 off, you can keep your home powered up, rain or shine. So don't let Mother Nature catch you off guard. Let Cool-Ray be your beacon of reliability. So Tennessee, are you ready to embrace spring with confidence? Give Cool-Ray a call today and let's make this season a breeze. We're your partner in comfort no matter the season. So here's to spring filled with sunshine, smiles, and stress-free living. Cool-Ray, keeping Tennessee cool, plumbing right, and lights bright. So visit CoolRay.com to take control of your home's comfort. That's CoolRay.com.
Blaine and Mickey 104.5 The Zone. What we got, we'll give it to you until Buck Reising gets here. He's supposed to be in here right now, but I think he's on some kind of mission. So he's handling business somewhere. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he went to buy a snow cone. If he did, I hope he brings one for all
he had
of
to
us.
get
his beard trimmed.
His beard and his temp fade. He said he just got to get a touch up. He got the Cosell's thing tomorrow, man. We all going, man. And
He's got to look
there.
good. He's got to look good.
So we'll all be there representing 104.5 The Zone.
Buck will join us courtesy of Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, when he joins us. So we'll all find out together. And his stuff is here, so we know he's not gone too far. So we'll talk to Buck when he gets here. Tyler Boyd in town visiting. Bananas did some internet looking around, and Boyd said that he is here, the former
He is here.
He did
Bengals
post.
receiver. He didn't just tweet, I'm here, but
He posted
A
a
lot of people
picture.
said they saw him. Yeah, they saw him.
He posted a picture on his Instagram story, I believe, of him located in Nashville, Tennessee. He had that little location pin that you can do on those stories.
boy, when Junior Colson posted that, I got excited because I thought he's coming for a visit. They're just going to keep him right here. He can just leave his bedroom and come. Although I'm happy with,
I mean, but what a weekend to be able to host Tyler Boyd. Like, if you really wanted him.
Wonder if he's going to stay the whole weekend.
Why is it a weekend?
I mean, you got the
He wants to
concerts,
take him to Morgan
the
Wallen and Preds
game, and
Let him catch a catfish from Cushenberry and see what else he can
What
do.
if he's not a fan of either? So then how does it play out?
Then he'd have to go eat with you and sell it because y'all know all the hot spots.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know Tyler Boyd. I don't know what he likes to do. I have no idea. He could be a homebody.
Buck is in here now. He just slipped in stealthily. What kind of itinerary?
stealthily.
What kind of itinerary would you plan for Tyler Boyd and his visit? Where'd you start? Like, where do you go? Maybe grab a drink or two. Then, like the middle part of. We know that you do this on the regular. So how do you plan a visit for Tyler Boyd?
You'd make sure that he came to the Cosell deal
Yeah,
and hang
for
out
sure.
at the Analog Friday night. I know that's on your itinerary.
Well, yeah,
100%
that's where all the
he's gotta
cool
go
kids
there.
are going to be.
Not to go to the concert.
Yep.
Oh, well, this particular concert, again, Morgan Wallen's a different one because, famously, there are some issues with Morgan Wallen. So
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
we don't know how
we
he
don't know
feels.
if he's a fan of him.
We don't know how he feels about Morgan Wallen, so we'll start with that. I would take him. Besides the live show, that's a great question. Rooftop bar, but not Broadway. Rooftop bar in the Gulch in particular. If the evening is nice, you want to show off the skyline, you want to be able to point to all the things in the city. Hey, there's Bridgestone Arena. You see how poppin' that is? There's a Preds playoff game, whereas you guys were talking about your quarterback and your center were just snapping catfish to one another, and the former left tackle is chugging beers and waters with his daughter. Not the daughter chugging the beer, but you understand. So you'd be able to point to everything that you can see from the rooftop bar in this growing Nashville skyline. The Gulch in particular has a bunch of different places. I'm sure Blaine has been on a tour of all the new,
He knows places. It's pretty amazing.
of all the newest places. Blaine's like my Nashville guru. If you guys don't follow him on Instagram, like all the places you guys be hopping around to, like there's some that I've been to, there's some that I haven't. So
so I'm on the right spots.
I've been
That's where
keeping
you hang
tabs.
out.
Y'all are
Absolutely.
like food blog influencers.
Yeah, man.
You
Maybe I should
you
do
post
that.
all the pictures of the food and the videos. Come
Well, yeah,
on.
phone eats first. That's how it works. But I think that but to your point, like we are growing so much as a food city, as an event city. I mean, we've always been an entertainment city, but just for all the different things and variety that you can do, not just what you normally associate with Nashville. And I think that the Gulch in particular is like ground floor or ground zero for all the different ways that you can branch out on how different Nashville is. Because you can see Broadway, but you can keep it 6 to 10 feet away, right? You can showcase
Good point.
the thing, but also show everything else around it as it grows and all the different places that you can live, conveniently located to the facility. You can see the new footprint of the new stadium, and then, you can keep the Morgan Wallen thing at a distance too, because you might get hit by a chair.
That is true.
Might get hit by a chair anyway.
And he's not going to
I don't
throw
know.
any from the stage, so there's at least that. What kind of money do you think he would be worth to
In
you?
length.
Let's say he goes
That's a
to
deal.
the Chargers and they go 1 year, 7.5 or 8 plus incentives. Then you come here and you go, I want multiple years. What you got for me?
2 years, 20. I like 2 years, 20.
Ooh. How much you guarantee?
Oh, you're like 2 years, 20.
Ooh, how much would I guarantee?
Yeah, how
I
much?
would guarantee probably $9 million, just ballpark.
So basically, that's a 1 year deal.
Yes.
Whoa.
But you give him the opportunity of yourself, the cap flexibility of the two. I think it benefits you more to do a 2-year deal than it does to do a 1-year deal. With all the different loopholes that you can build into these contracts and the monopoly money element of it. I think he matters here because I don't know if you guys saw the Adam Kaplan report that they were after him or interested in him to play slot. And if you don't have an answer at slot and you feel like you had a pretty good one in Cincinnati that you know and knows the offense and can help your young quarterback get to know the offense and your new wide receiver get to know the offense, who you're already talking about deploying in a Jamar Chase type fashion. Jaquan Jackson can be a returner, and that's just fine in 2024. Go get me Tyler Boyd.
There you go. Buck Reising breaking it all down here.
You got $25 million to I'm sorry, Mickey.
The live install and drives the Two Rivers Ford and brought to you by Two Rivers Ford. That's okay. You weren't interrupting anything.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Well, no, because Two Rivers Ford is the best, and they make all of the things in my life possible at this point. Two Rivers Ford is my sugar daddy, and I love them. I think that speaking of sugar daddies, you got some money to spend. Mm-hmm. You got about $25 million in effective cap space, accounting for rookies that haven't signed deals yet and injury pool and all that. It's okay to use it if you feel like you are in a year one Texans type of phase with this, where you can show not just base level functionality, but maybe get a few steps ahead of where you thought this thing might actually be. Because Levis is the most important thing here. Levis is the most important thing to be supported here. If you feel like Tyler Boyd is the best option in the slot for him and he knows your offense out of the gate, do it. Shouldn't give it a second thought.
So what does that mean for Burks, Phillips, and everybody else?
Take your ass to the bench. Take your ass to the bench. Get down to the bench. We'll call you if we need you, but hopefully not. Just as far down the depth chart as you can push them. Not off a ledge or anything like that, but just
off the ledge of starter.
Not NWI though, right? He's not getting pushed.
No, he's timeless.
Yes, he is timeless, ageless.
You can't kill him. You can't stop him.
Yes.
He's inevitable.
He's a security blanket. That's what he is.
Money matters. That matters.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Special teamer, inside, outside, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to put me. I'm available.
Do you know how much I would love him as a 5 or a practice squad guy? Like, not that it would ever happen, but I just.
He went practice squad guy. This guy started in some games.
That's the state of the Titans roster. Well,
right. That's true.
And listen, I mean no disrespect to Nick. Truly, I don't, because he's made a great career for himself from where he started, and that work ethic.
School.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and if you make it for football out of Indiana, God bless you. You're doing things that nobody expected you to do, bud. So, to his credit, but. For as much as I love NWI, and Titans fans should like the idea of NWI just being reliable, you don't have to be on your roster next year if you feel good enough about your depth. It's a 1-year deal. There's nothing here that makes NWI any more a roster lock to me than Mason Kinsey or Kearis Jackson or
Phillips.
Phillips, yeah. I mean, fifth round picks sometimes don't make it out of their rookie training camps. That happens. So it's not like, Phillips is already probably going to get supplanted by this Jaquan Jackson guy, depending on how this thing goes and how that competition plays out. So, in some form or fashion, yeah, Tyler Boyd just makes too much sense for the needs that you still have. It's okay to do a little luxury spending too, if you feel like that's going to put you not over the top, but make you the best possible version of yourself this year. Because that's what they keep signaling. Like they want to compete. They want to compete for the division, and that's the starting point. Compete for the division first. Then you can do what the Texans are doing, which is competing with everybody else for the Super Bowl.
So we still have to bring up Burks because he doesn't do anything other than play receiver, whether you're talking about outside, inside. So he's not a special teamer. He could if they sign Boyd here, he could be possibly not even dressing. And I say that in kindness, in that NWI is dependable and he can play special teams. We talking about running down on teams. He's not a returner. Burks is not a returner. Do you want Burks going out there tackling? I don't think he does. So I'm just trying to figure out where does it go. They talk nice. They've been very professional, giving us a lot of information, the coaching staff and the GM. But their actions are telling you need to get your crap together or you're going to be at the bottom of the bench and you liable not dress for some games.
We've talked about this.
If they sign a receiver, I don't care who it is. It's a proven guy. man, that is not good for him.
And that's all you're signing at this point is proven guys. I mean, beyond if you have some kind of unforeseen injury or whatever, and the signings have already gone around. This is a meaningful wave of free agency. This is what you need when your draft holes have been filled. And if you still have some room to work with on your roster, then you go out and find your Andres Pete, your Tyler Boyds, your Justin Simmons safety market is going to be certainly active as we work into the coming weeks. But for Treylon Burks, he was put on notice as soon as Ridley got here, probably before Ridley got here. He should have been aware of this as soon as the coaching staff changed, because these are not your people anymore. It's not the guy that drafted you. There are some people that were responsible for drafting you and still believe that you can be that player in that building, of course. But there's nothing that's given to you at this point. And he may have to gut it out on teams or something like that. To your point, he did not play that, and that was under Vrabel. Vrabel, who makes everybody play special teams before you get out onto the field as a rookie, unless you absolutely have to play right away like Skoronski or something. They may expect him to compete on special teams. He may be willing. He's been back there.
I think his personality type, he would.
Oh yeah, no, I have
he's a good guy, good kid.
I have
do whatever
zero doubts, because I know, I know I can be some tongue-in-cheek about this kind of stuff, but and you don't pity professional athletes, but I legitimately feel bad for how Treylon Burks' experience in the NFL has gone so far, because it's not been for a lack of work or care on his part. I truly believe that he wants to be great. You see it in the moments when he gets the opportunity to make the play. He's very, very fired up. He's into it. He loves football. There's no disputing that part of it, but the window is so small, and in theory, it might have already passed him by on a roster that was, 3 months ago, desperate for wide receiver help. And you thought, oh, okay, gravy. He gets another opportunity under an offensive-minded coach, whatever. And they said, no, we want one of these and we want one of those. And you can, further slide down the depth chart just a little bit, but it's okay. We still like it.
All right. Well, let's talk about some guys who are going to be at the top of the...
Yes.
I guess totem pole here for the Titans draft picks, J.C. Latham and Devontae Sweat. What were your thoughts about both of those guys initially? And has it changed a little bit, or how much have you pretty much stayed the same? And what kind of impact? I mean, we all know the issues with right and left tackle, and then Devontae Sweat, the outfield or, weight or whatever it may be. So kind of take us through what your thoughts were.
Okay, so my initial thought was, if he's good enough for Bill Callahan, good enough for me. Feel like that's a pretty popular opinion. I don't love having a question mark around left tackle after the draft, even if, I know he's a stud athlete. Like, right. I'm not really that concerned about the idea of him moving over. But it's the fact that I still don't know definitively 100% that he's the left tackle that kind of catches me up a little bit. Not the end of the world, just something in the back of my mind. But I like him. I like the violence. I like the power. There's so much power predicated in that dude's game. And, Ray Carthon on Thursday night after they drafted him said, okay, I challenge each and every one of you to go shake his hand. So I did. And it was like when they signed Titans legend Adrian Peterson for like a week and a half,
so stupid.
And I shook his hand, that was still the strongest handshake that I've ever felt. And that's like infamous for how bone crushing AD is. But this dude, I just felt like I lost like a part of my forearm in his grip. Like just a part, it's not just my hand that disappeared inside of his hand, but like a part of my arm. He's just a monster, a mountain of a human being. And you can't coach that size and that just nastiness that he plays with. You love it. Sweat is for sure the biggest question mark. But the need was so clear and obvious. And so without knowing how they have their board stacked, if he is the best available option to you, and I know they got offers at 38, and I know they were good offers. It's the Rams paid.
So you don't think it's a reach then?
I think, and I want to be careful how I phrase this, because I'm not saying that the team should benefit from something like a DWI in how he slides. You know what I'm saying? But if you did all the vetting, and if you feel 100% good about the player, or maybe not 100%, but you feel really, really good about the visit that you had, you go down there, you do your due diligence, okay, but the rest of the league is still kind of shaky on him, then that should play to your advantage, and you should be able to get him later at a better value, or try and get a trade back because you think that guy's going to be there. You don't have to take him at the very top possible spot that you could have taken him, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying that you should benefit from screw-ups or character issues or whatever. But if there's value to be had there, and the biggest question is that the best possible value for your pick when this roster has needs everywhere? I think that's the most fair criticism of the Sweat pick.
You said they had good options with the trade. What do you think they were?
Well, I know that the Rams traded right behind them and gave up a whole package of picks that I know they called the Titans about as well. Okay. So, in particular, the deal for the Braden Fisk deal, Titans probably could have made some hay with that as well.
Gotcha. Well, with Buckster, Buck Reising Show.
So this could even be relative to where they were drafted. So you could say, so it doesn't necessarily that the guy has to be a starter or this day one Hall of Fame player, but best value for all of the picks, for all of them.
I mean, if the Jackson kid starts in the slot, we'll see what happens with Tyler Boyd, but that wouldn't be bad for a 6th-round wide receiver. Again, he's undersized. He's got the same, I'm not going to say the same Kyle Phillips problems, but like the size issue is a similar theme, and that's always going to be the case for those dudes. I think, though, Brownlee, we talked about this on the radio show. I'm not saying that he's like the next L'Jarius Sneed or something like that, but Sneed was a 4th-round pick. He's a very toolsy corner, very physical corner, somebody who could play press right away, which, Blaine, I'm sure you could speak to this better than I can. They're not playing press in college a ton. So if you can find a guy who displays that ability and who can drop into the nickel and dime situations right away, as I think he expects to, and Rand said immediately, yeah, he's going to be a dog on special teams, which is what he has to do as the 4th corner. You need 4 corners. If you go 4 deep on any given roster or any given depth chart in the NFL right now at the cornerback position, there's probably 2 or 3 that are better than the Titans, but not many.
So, again, Buck Reising is our guest, courtesy of 2 Rivers Ford. So, you're one of the crew who's hanging out in the draft room down there with the rest of a lot of the print media, ladies and gentlemen. So, you're there, boots on the ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, after day 3 was a bit of a stretch. I don't know how lady and gentlemanly we were by the end of day 3. But
just being formal here. What pick did you feel best about when it happened?
Ooh,
we stopped Buck.
I asked that because when they draft Latham, you're like, oh, shoot, he's a right guy. They're going to have to move him to the left. Then they draft Sweat, and you're like, man, he could be kind of a reach. Then they don't have a 3rd. Then you're there for the 4th. Then you're there for the 5th, and so on and so forth. I didn't know at the time because you're in the room. You're getting real reactions from other media.
No, it's a good question because I had questions about all of them. I think my initial reaction is probably, ironically enough, it's James Williams, like the dude that's never played the position that he's going to play in the NFL. Because I'm looking at the size, I'm looking at the way that he plays, understanding, that he has to have some ability in coverage, and did at Miami. He's built like a damn pterodactyl. Not that I feel bad about Latham or Sweat or anything like that. I just have more questions around it, and I have questions about James Williams. Can he play linebacker? Is that transition going to go smoothly for him? Because a lot of players who have played safety in college are having to make that transition. The Titans have another one on their roster. Otis Reese did the same thing. But James Williams and Otis Reese are not built the same. James Williams. Oh, boy. Like this dude. I think I was most excited to watch. I'm most excited to watch how that guy's career goes, I guess. Just out of curiosity. But I like... The Latham thing in real time, I was like, oh, the Chargers did the obvious thing. Okay, is Neighbors going to be there? And then once Neighbors went 6 to the Giants, I was disappointed that they took J.C. Latham just because I wanted Malik Neighbors, and he was right there. He's just right there. It's just within my reach, and then New York gaslights you and grabs him away. So when they got to Latham, my initial reaction was,
That's okay. Never our reaction with Buck Reising. It's never, it's always, woo, and he joins us now on Blaine and Me.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I hear that you and Ron Slay got some little bet going on. And what is going on? I saw the jersey and with Traylon Burks. So what's going on here with that?
I know you're listening to me, Slay. I can't wait to rub your nose in this.
What is it?
Boy.
So he seems to think, and listen, he's entitled to stand for whatever player or die on whatever hill that he wants to.
Okay.
That's fine. I would have thought that he would have picked a better position, but that's okay. I'll take the W. Traylon Burks, he has been a very big and loud proponent for Traylon Burks and the upcoming season.
What was that?
That was the sound that Ron Slay made when Brian Callahan said that he was fired up about Traylon Burks. Can I hear that again, please? Like a pig dying. like some kind of animal being slaughtered. That is
I've been on the farm. I know that sound.
similar then, yes?
That's going to haunt my dreams.
Yeah.
What was that?
One more time?
Sorry, I hit the wrong
music.
button.
That's fine. The music just enhances the terror.
The bit's growing. Anyway, this idiot wants to stake his
Ron Slay.
integrity. Yes, this idiot Ron Slay wants to stake his integrity and his opinions on Traylon Burks' upcoming season after he had 222 yards receiving last year. So I said, okay, Slay, if he gets 800 yards receiving in 2024, I will buy a Traylon Burks jersey. I will wear it for all 3 hours on the show, and then I will give it away to a Titans fan after the fact. I will do all these things, and I will do it with my own money, but he has to get to 800 yards. And then immediately he said, well, 45 to 50 catches and 700 yards. I said, it's a first-round pick. No, we are not. We are not couching this.
Oh.
This is going to be year 3. I don't care who's in front of him. If you want to make the bet, make the bet. So the ball is in your court, Slay. I'm sitting at your microphone. I'm talking your talk. If you want to take me up on that bet and you want to really put your chest or put your name on Traylon Burks in 2024, I'm right here for you, big boy.
There's no stipulation? Like, well, what if, somebody, knock on wood, gets hurt and then he starts? There's no stipulation that it changes?
No stipulations. 800 yards is the stipulation, Blaine, for the former first-round pick 2 years ago.
All right, one more question. I know we're going over a little time. AFC South, did the Titans do enough to push themselves in competition for the AFC South?
Oh, for sure. I think
to win
so.
it.
To win it?
Yeah, to win it. Just the only reason that's what I mean when I say competition for the number one spot.
Fair, because I'm thinking wild card. It should still be the Texans division to win, but here's the thing, Blaine. It was the Titans 2 years ago, and it was the Jags last year, and they both fumbled the bag. So I feel good, not just about the draft class, but their offseason. Their offseason has made this a legitimately competitive football team. The biggest question mark that we're all kind of hinging everything on is the quarterback worth a damn? So we'll find out.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the left tackle.
No. It's the other guy.
Well, he is throwing with his right arm, not his left.
He
can switch hands.
He needs to survive. Let's start there. Good luck and God bless, young man.
It's a good spot to end. Good luck and God bless Buck Reising as he leaves us. Live install coming up with Greg Cosell. I believe it's sold out now.
Been sold out for weeks. So we're excited. We're excited to have everybody from the station in the house that's able to attend. We really appreciate how excited people have been. There's even a secondary market for these tickets. People are so desperate to get them that they're tagging me on Twitter and asking if anybody is selling their install tickets because of Game 6 with the Preds. And I'm happy to report that I haven't had anybody reach out to me trying to sell tickets, only more people trying to buy tickets.
Give us a teaser what you may expect.
Well,
from you and Greg.
We are going...
And Rand.
Rand Carthon is going to be there for a portion of the show as well. What I think is going to be really cool is Greg does like professional scouting evaluations, like sheets on all of these prospects, and I'm going to have Rand cross-check Greg's work live on stage.
Oh, that's cool.
That's big time stuff.
How often you get something like that? Literally in no other NFL market do you get something like that.
All right, come on back. Daryl in Mount Juliet wants to talk about Burks and Boyd. We'll talk to him. We can talk to you, 615-737-1045. Also, the Nashville Symphony is doing a tribute to the music of Pink Floyd, and you can win tickets next on Blaine and Mickey.
Buckaroo. Lady, For many of you who have lived here a long time, you already know Eurofix has been in Middle Tennessee area for your European car repair needs now for 24 years. And we've all gotten to watch them grow. And I don't know about you, but I love watching a hometown business take off. Well, we are now proud to announce the 5th location in Mount Juliet for Eurofix on Mount Juliet Road, right across the street from Dairy Queen. And Eurofix can serve you in Franklin, Hundred Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now Mount Juliet. Pretty cool getting to watch a small-town mechanic starting in the barn in the backyard of a single-wide trailer and now grow to 5 locations repairing thousands of cars each month. And at Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can just visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. Don't blame you.
Going to give away these tickets here in just a minute. Window Nation ticket window will be open. Hold up. Let's get Daryl from Mount Juliet. Wants to talk some Burks and some Boyd and some more of this stuff as, again, the reports are Tyler Boyd visiting with the Titans, the former Bengals receiver. What's up, Daryl? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, how are you guys?
Good.
I just wanted to say, I think Boyd would be good competition. I've seen a lot of people online, obviously very positive about him, but there's some negative too. And I just think signing a guy who, would know Callahan's offense and could be a safety valve for Levis, I think to support him in his second year, being the full starter, I think would be a smart decision. And I wanted to ask you, Blaine, what did you think about some of these rule changes about them letting the players wear Guardian helmets? And I think that's the only thing that's going to help Burks stay on the field. I don't see anything from him that's worth even putting him out there. So I just wanted to shout out all the Treylon truthers that, AJ's better. So that's all I've got.
I appreciate the phone call, Daryl.
So the question, I guess, is about the helmet thing. Oh, I don't know. I think maybe offensive linemen may wear it. I don't know if any skill guys would wear it, at least initially. I don't, this generation none of the guys may not want to wear it, but I like that they're giving them the option.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think they'll have the same logo? But at practice, it doesn't. It's just a plain color. So do they have the logo and everything now on them each team?
They're going to have to if they
it
let
has
people
to
wear
be,
it on
right?
the field.
There's no way the look is going to look horrible if it's just a plain
the black color that it is in practice.
Yeah, I don't think
some of them. Some are just plain colors. Some are black. I mean, they're like off-white color. Black. I mean, so I don't know, man.
I mean, can you imagine how much you're stand out on the field if you're wearing that? Like if you got like white helmets and the rest of your teammates have white helmets and then you're wearing that.
No, they'll find a way to make it with the logo. I would think. And he asked about, do you think that would help Burks? And I'll say this. The linemen wearing it just because they're constantly just butting into each other.
Every single play.
For a guy like Burks, he fell backwards on the sidelines, remember, and slammed his head on the ground. You can have all the Guardian caps in the world, but that's not going to keep that from happening.
Yeah, and then he unfortunately got hit in the Eagles game.
Oh, my gosh.
He just kind of had some, tough luck. I could say that. So I think he's a tough guy. So I thought they did the appropriate thing by keeping him out, too, and making sure he was to healthy there. Even with a tester game, I called it, where he was just running off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't know what you get out of that, because sometimes you can get out there and you start feeling lightheaded and dizzy, and because you're running at a level of a speed that you can't practice in practice. So, so I think it's good for the game, but I'll be interested to see how many players buy into it in a game. That will be very interesting.
I think you're 100% right, though. I think if we see it on anybody, it'll be linemen. I think it would be linemen who would be like, screw it, man, I'm wearing the thing. Put it on my helmet.
Yeah.
But I don't think the NFL would go out of their way to say, you can wear it in the game without knowing, oh, no, we can weave the logo, paint it on. They'll find a way to, they'll find a way. There's no way a guy's just going to be out there with a black pad over his helmet.
Well, watch this. Did we hear anything about them ever bringing up that they may let this happen in a game? That we may wear these helmets to help them for safety. Had you heard any of that? I hadn't.
No, it had never come up until it came up earlier this week.
Until they passed it.
Yes.
Another way to say we're keeping the game safe and that we're going to add another game.
Funny that it's at the same time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
While you're looking left, they're stacking up more games on the right. Is that what you're saying?
Bro, this is a plan. These dudes are thinking 5-10 years out, man. When you at that level, that's the only way you got to where you at.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, this is happening.
All right. Tyler Boyd, is on a visit to Nashville. What would that mean to Treylon Burks? We've got a poll question out on Blaine and Mickey. Do you want the Titans to sign Tyler Boyd, regardless of what it means for Treylon Burks, Kyle Phillips, etc.? Let's just say this poll is leaning heavily in one way. We will tell you what that is when we come back. What are the financial numbers for Treylon Burks? Let's just say they decided to move on. What would that look like? We can tell you all that and more. Wow. We can take your thoughts on it. 615-737-1045. But right now, that's the number to win Mixed Ticks. That's right, giving you All these chances to win tickets to see all the stuff that I like, thanks to Window Nation Ticket Window. Caller 5 now will win 4 tickets to see the music of Pink Floyd with the Nashville Symphony at Ascend Amphitheater on Sunday, May 5th. This is going to be amazing. I want these tickets. 4 tickets, music of Pink Floyd, played by the Nashville Symphony, Ascend Amphitheater, 615-737-1045. Caller 5 gets them.
Good afternoon. It is 2 o'clock. I'm Joseph Bonanno here at the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Former Cincinnati Bengal and current free agent wide receiver Tyler Boyd is scheduled to meet with the Titans later this week. Boyd headed into his 9th professional season, also met with the Los Angeles Chargers earlier this week, according to Jeremy Fowler. A start time for the Nashville Predators Game 6 versus the Vancouver Canucks has been announced. Puck drop at Bridgestone Arena on Friday will be at 6 p.m. on TNT. The Preds will look to even the series of force a Game 7. Winner will face the Oilers in round 2. Tonight in the NHL, Boston looks to close out the series against the Maple Leafs, while Toronto looks to force a Game 7. And then over in the NBA playoffs, the Pacers look to knock off the Bucks as they look to force a Game 7 in the East first round. And then also in the East first round, the Knicks and 76ers get set for Game 6. New York leads that one 3-2. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, let's do this. Hour number 2 on Thursday. We got a winner on our tickets. And here's what we're going to do. At 2:20, we got more tickets to give away. Playoff Preds tickets. Yeah, playoff Preds tickets. So you got to keep listening this hour to get those. The big story today, former Bengals wide receiver Tyler Boyd was in Los Angeles this week to meet with the Chargers. He will visit the Titans later this week, was the report from Jeremy Fowler. He's here. His own social media confirmed it. So Tyler Boyd in town this week. There's another report from, I believe, Adam Kaplan, who essentially said, and I can find the tweet and read it exactly, because people are saying, well, I mean, there's history between he and Callahan, so why wouldn't you just go ahead and make something happen? What's he waiting on? And the word from Adam Kaplan, who's a longtime NFL reporter, Titans had interest in pursuing him, talking about Tyler Boyd, had interest in pursuing him before the draft as their slot receiver, but they and other teams were under the impression he wanted to wait until after the draft to sign. Blaine, we're after the draft. He visited Los Angeles Chargers. He is here now.
He's already visited the Chargers?
He visited there first. That's what Jeremy Fowler said.
Well, at least that's good for us. He waited. I bet I think he's playing this the right way. Let me say this, because if he would have signed before, it might have been not what he wanted, but you want to be signed as a player. They know it's only so many spots. I think he was waiting because he didn't want to get bamboozled by go sign with a team, and then all of a sudden they draft 2 receivers high in the first and third round. And then next thing you know, I'm sitting here holding the bag, and I'm going on year 9. I'm a possession receiver, but I'm a perfect possession slot receiver. So I think you always want to go somewhere where you're comfortable. He knows this offense. He knows the coach, head coach, by the way. So there's kind of can be wink, wink, nod, nod. Hey, I'm going to take care of you. We're going to do what we always done here. And, hey, you could be a 2 here if something happens to one of our guys, So, whether it's Hammy or whatever. So, I'm hoping he signs. But, boy, that's a huge sign that, depth pieces gets even deeper. And then where does that leave? Naturally, the first-round pick, Burks, who is now going on his 3rd year. Is that right? Yeah, third year. Has some injury issues and hasn't really performed. He was never going to be A.J. Brown. I think everybody knows that he's not now, but I never thought that, and I never put that kind of pressure on him. But I thought he would be ahead of where he's at today. I thought he would be at least an NWI, like 500-600 yards, a season. That hasn't even happened yet. Some of it's his fault, some of it's injuries. So when you start signing veteran guys and everything's about winning now, he's going to move down the depth chart and could possibly be traded or maybe even not on the team. I hope not. I want to give him a fair shot. I just want to see him stay healthy and play. And put him in an offense, let's say, where they throw the ball. And let's just see where he fits. Is he an outside guy? Is he an inside guy? What is he really? We don't even know. And so with that being said, when you don't know, then he's not none of it. And that's the scary part of it. Year 3, that's a little nervy. And Phillips, too, by the way, and Kinsey. That pushes them all down.
Well, this is what I went back and got this from when Brian Callahan spoke, one of the times that he spoke earlier, this is before the draft, got asked about the receiver room, on how open he is to adding to the receiver room. So this might have been the last time he spoke before the draft when he did the pre-draft presser. Said, I think you're always open. This is Brian Callahan. I think you're always open to adding to those spots. I mean, we have to have someone for us at the slot position receiver when we're in 11 personnel. That's the one. We've got some young players I'm excited to take a look at with Kyle Phillips, Mason Kinsey. He's been around here. He's shown his mettle. Obviously, NWI, he said his full name, has been involved in some of those spots in his career. So trying to find someone to emerge in that spot. You got guys that you're trying to always build youth and depth as well. So those things are in constant flux. You're always trying to have another guy ready to roll. Then you start talking about depth at other positions. But he specifically brought up the slot position and finding somebody he could trust there.
Man, bigger body, Burks, probably even a better athlete than Boyd, but not a better player. Not at this point. So until he proves and maybe gets some chemistry with Levis, and I don't know where they think he's an outside or inside guy. I don't know. Man, you had the numbers when he came out that he played more slot than any other spot. What was the, I think it was a 80-some%. It was a high number in college. He did do some things outside. But most of the things in college when he was in the slot was like reverses and things like that. But he was always just running straight. You never saw him what we call dynamic. Dynamic means that you're making guys miss in open field. Like, that juke and all that, it's hard to catch you in a corner. He's never shown that even in the pros. So is he actually a slot unless you're in a vertical offense where you're throwing from the slot guys running vertical routes, which I think he can do. I just don't think he's a gadget guy. Do you got those numbers?
Burks ran 149 routes in college outside. He ran 681 in the slot. So they compared him to Garrett Wilson, to Jamison Williams, to Drake London, to Chris Olave, Jahan Dotson, who were other guys in his class. None of those guys. Drake London was the only other guy who was close. He had 662, but Burks was a slot receiver. And like you said about Arkansas, essentially it was a lot of long handoffs. Mm-hmm. Just a big, powerful guy. Just put him, and they handed him the ball. Hey, he was like a punt and kick returner for a minute there when he got there. But they were just trying to get the ball in his hands.
Oh, so he returned kick and punt. Oh, wow. I forgot about that.
He did a little bit when he first got there.
Yeah. So I just want to, I know he's a good guy. Man, I just want to see him, just at least give him an opportunity to see what he can do in this style of offense. I really want to see that, but if Boyd comes, that's not happening. So, yeah, I'd love to have Boyd because I want to win now. It's all about winning now. That's why they bring him in. And their actions are telling you what they're thinking. They're not waiting. And, by the way, they didn't draft him. The staff, the Rand didn't either. He was before Rand. So that's not in his favor.
I mean, there's nobody who's connected to the team anymore that brought him. And there may be scouts, but right. No front office people. None of those people had anything to do with him getting here. So you're right. There's no allegiance to him.
Yeah. But one thing you could, if someone got injured, let's say Nick, I remember D-Hop got the hammy issue one year, I think when he got to Arizona. Or he missed her for a while. Who is your backup outside guy? NWI? We know he can do it. Mm-hmm. But, man, if you got an opportunity to see Burks do it consistently on a regular basis and to see what he could actually do, I think, that's a little exciting. Just to see if he can actually produce. This is a production business, and he does not 221 yards. Me, you, and Bananas could have maybe got 220 yards. I ain't saying that in joke and punk. We couldn't have done none of that. But, man, dang. It don't look good. They signed Boyd, it's over.
Well, and you bring up the point is, okay, then what do you do with him? And Buck was on with us, and we said he's never played special teams. You just say, hey man, go over there and learn special teams. Use your big body on special teams. Big fast guy, go cover kicks.
I think he would try, but I just don't see special teams.
So
whereby.
So I looked up the last 5 years with the Bengals when Brian Callahan was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
The Bengals have kept either 8 or 9 wide receivers on their roster in the last 5 years.
Whoa, so that's a good stat there. Great stat, because that was not the nature of Vrabel. Was 5 or 6 or something like that?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
So you say 7 or 8.
So this is from Pro Football Reference. Going back to 2019.
That blew your mind?
They had,
Yeah.
So in 2019, they had 9. 2020, they had 8. Then they had 8 again. Then they had 9 again. And then they had 8 again.
How many tight ends were on the roster with that?
Let me go look. So last
3?
year and
4.
So last year they had 4 tight ends.
That's 12 or 13 people who are receivers or tight ends. You'd have to carry a less linebacker, a less defensive lineman, maybe a less safety. And that's 3 less people. There'd be a lot of other people doing a lot of other stuff.
About 4 tight ends of the last 2 years.
On average, yeah.
Is what according to Pro Football's Reference rosters for the Bengal.
Man, that 9, 8. Oh, wow. Well,
They had 5 tight ends in 2021.
Well, now that might have been over the course of the whole year.
Yeah.
So that could be some of this, just that's how many guys played, but boy. But you're right. You start looking at who are the depth guys on the outside. So they may just have to tell Burks, okay, we're going to keep 6, and you're number 6, so you'll play some weeks and you won't play some weeks. You're number 7, you'll play some weeks and you won't play some weeks.
So which of the other Titans wide receivers does this affect, other than Burks?
Well, why don't we get into that next? Let's do it. We can go through the Titans receiver roster. We can take phone calls. DJ is in Nashville. He wants to talk about Boyd. Kenny, the mailman, wants to check in. We don't hear from Kenny enough, so we'll hear from him. You want to join this discussion? Who do you want to see go? Do you want Boyd? Do you want somebody else? The Blaine and Mickey poll about this. Titans fans, my Twitter just reset. Titans fans, do you want the Titans to sign Tyler Boyd, regardless of what it means for Traylon Burks, Kyle Phillips, etc.? 87% say heck yeah. 13% say no, ride with Burks and Phillips. So how does this affect the other guys? We can get into all that next. And we will also give away the Spreads playoff tickets as well in the next segment. Blaine and Mickey.
Yet.
So you'll have to hold on for that. So Blaine and Mickey, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors.
hey, this is Blaine Bishop, and I'm excited to tell you about Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, or as you may know them as TOA. And TOA has 29 locations and over 100 orthopedic physicians throughout Middle and East Tennessee to take care of all your musculoskeletal needs. In addition to their orthopedic clinics and urgent care facilities, TOA offers physical therapy, hand therapy, and sports performance training for teams and individuals at their sports performance centers. And as a former professional athlete, I know how important access to expert orthopedic care is. Whether you're an athlete, active adult, or just looking to get back to living your best life, you can visit TOA online at TOA.com. That's TOA.com, or you can call them at 1-855-NEED-TOA. It's 1-855-NEED-TOA.
Blaine and Mickey, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors when trust matters. So Boyd here on a visit, as he said on his social media. I guess other people, TD, somebody said in the chat, TD's reporting also he is currently here on his visit. What do you think about Boyd? What does this mean for the other Titans receivers in the room, the guys further down the line? What does it mean for Burks? What does it mean for Phillips? What could it mean for NWI? As Blaine pointed this out earlier, I mean, they didn't have anything to do with him either. They didn't bring him here. So he is under a 1-year contract currently, talking about NWI. But what does this mean for all those guys? DJ in Nashville wants to talk about it all, and he joins us now, 615-737-1045. You can join us too.
Hey, guys, what's up?
What's up?
What's going on?
What's up? Blaine, Mickey, DJ. I called in, I guess, about a week and a half ago about Kurt Warner and American Underdog.
Yeah.
Hope y'all watched that movie, right?
Well, I still haven't had a chance, but I know you gave it a glowing review.
Oh, man. I mean, the stuff on that movie is like, you got to get past, but you got to get down to the human spirit about what's going on. And people are struggling out here today. Do you not think that Frank Wycheck, if he wouldn't have had a chance to wear that Guardian helmet, that he would have worn it? We have to implement, we have to put this stuff in. It don't care how it looks. It absorbs 20% of every collision if both players are wearing it. So there's no future down the road. So if Frank Wycheck lives to 70 instead of 50, who cares how it looks? I mean, let's be real, guys. I mean, let's get it going. We're already talking about it. Let's get it going on right now. And it just pains me to say that, we don't look good wearing something that's going to help us. I just lost my cousin to cancer about two weeks ago. So let's get it going on. Let's go ahead and put this out nationally. We need to put this out. We need to implement it. If the NFL wants to survive, if mamas that don't want their kids to play football because they're not going to survive, let's put it in. Hashtag Frank Wycheck.
I appreciate the phone call and the emotion there, DJ.
No doubt.
I'm sorry about the loss of your cousin there. It's going to be up to the individual players whether or not they decide to do it. It'll be up to them. That's basically the way the report came out. They will have the option to wear it. I think they make them wear it at practice, and then I think you have the option to wear it in the game if that's what you want to.
I don't think anybody's ever said it won't look right. So I don't know. I think maybe some other people may have said that.
Well, our thing was they'll just have to make it look like the helmet. And they're not going to send somebody out there with something covering their helmet that's not the same color as the helmet. That's all we were getting at,
and
DJ.
the logo and everything else on there, because the ones that you wear at practice did not have the logo, and it was not, the same color as the actual helmets. But we did still say, I thought maybe at least the offensive linemen, people were hitting every play.
I wouldn't be surprised at all for the offensive end if you tune in a game and there's guys on the offensive and defensive line and they both have it.
I've never worn one, so I don't know exactly how, or I've talked to players about it, about how they feel. Like, does it make your head feel a little heavier? Does it put you off balance? I don't know any of these little things that really matter to the players. Now, I will say this. The thing that should matter is common sense to all of us sitting on the outside is safety. But players feel like it's just like thigh pads. They feel like that it slows them down. They will not wear them, and they will get fined. So that's what I'm getting at. When you're talking about the actual player, they're not thinking about 20 years from now. They are only thinking about the now and how they perform. And if they feel like it hinders their performance, they probably won't wear it, unfortunately.
And there was, late 80s, early 90s, Mark Kelso of the Bills is the guy that I remember. There was also, was there a lineman on the 49ers? And they had a padded shell that they wore on the outside of their helmet that was really, really thick. Like, you could not see it. It was so thick.
But it had all the logo
but
and
it looked like the rest of their helmet.
Yep.
So like Kelso, I think the Bills helmets were red then. It was a red one with the Bills logo and a stripe down the middle. but he looked like a bobblehead in it.
Yeah, and it would pop off sometimes. Too.
Yes, yes, because we were talking about that. And you said, you remember that thing would fly off sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who the other, but I think there was some thought then, wait, guys with concussion issues, they'll probably all do this. I only remember Kelso and one other guy doing it.
Yeah.
And I can't even name the other guy.
Yeah, I don't remember at all. And it's because Buffalo had so much success, we would see them on TV.
Oh, sure.
And then, he was the only guy I can recall. I can't even remember the other person.
Kenny the Mailman, I guess Kenny the Mailman wanted to bring up player safety as well. We can do that as well. Then we can get back to the Boyd discussion and more. What's up, Kenny?
Hello, good friends.
Hello.
Happy to let y'all know both of y'all were first-round draft picks and the good guy draft pick this year. I picked both of y'all.
Well, you would have gone before us, man. You're a first-round pick from way
and
back.
You be sure and look in the cheap seats tomorrow night. I know you'll be on behind the velvet rope, but you check back there because my son and I really want to meet you.
Well, I will be at my daughter's last ever choir concert in high school tomorrow. I have to miss the install.
That's a good thing. Well, we'll talk to everybody else. Yeah. Listen, I think Blaine backed me up on this. They're making a lot of cute player safety ideas to give it the impression they're really doing something. Mm-hmm. But until they go to a 62-man roster with everyone up, everything, because they're adding games, everything else is just fluff. Because until you know some of these players behind the scenes and you see what it takes on, Blaine, do you remember Mike Rohn played tight end?
Rohner? Oh, yeah.
He lived on my route, and he would come down to get the mail the middle of the week. 2 black eyes, his elbow hurt, and when he'd turn the key on his mailbox, he'd wince. He dropped his mail a couple of times. I bent down and picked it up quicker than he could, and I'd say, "Are you going on the DL?" And he goes, "Brother, this is just the regular." And, and I'm just stunned. People don't know what they have to go through. But it wouldn't take much to go to 62 because what they're paying the practice squad anyway, that's at 56? And you could count the other 4 or 5 as special teams players, kickers, everything, but have 62 on the team all up. And if you play 18, maybe you won't grind these guys into the ground. Hey, y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Kenny.
Appreciate it, Kenny. Yeah. Yeah, I think you've been talking about the roster size. I've been talking about the games are going to grow as far as number of games they'll play. So, which brings more money and more TV revenue if they increase that. So, yeah, so I think this is a caveat, putting these, what are they calling them that you put on their head? These
Guardian
caps. I think this is a play on safety. Absolutely it is. And so he's already kind of hinted around it. They're going to increase the game. We don't like preseason game. Okay. Go make them regular season games.
So there's 16 players on the practice squad now, because that got expanded from whatever
Which
it used to be.
Super excited about. Yeah. That was COVID year, maybe.
Yep, when they just needed people out the yin yang to have access to. You and I were talking about this off the air yesterday, and the idea, and I brought up expanding the roster, and I don't remember who said it. It may have even been in a commercial break. I don't think we said it on the air of. Well, if you had 60, like Kenny just said, you have 62 and everybody's active. Mm-hmm. But I asked somebody in the league once years ago, like, why do you have to deactivate people every week? Why not just let every 53 guy play? And he said, because it's essentially a war of attrition.
Yep.
Some teams would get to 46 people, and that's all they'd have healthy. So they do that to make everybody even out. Mm-hmm. So you just produce the same number of healthy players to play in the game. So if they expand the roster, Kenny said 62. If they expand it to 60, they expand it to 65 and let 60 be active. Those are the kind of things that the NFLPA, I mean, it'll have to be up to them to advocate, right? Yeah. We need more people. We need more people active. They're going to have to go fight for it, right?
Yeah, that's the only way it happens. And I just don't know if that's really the focus for the players. To be honest, they're always focused more on the money and not increasing the rosters, which could then make it a game of, everybody gets to play. If you're injured or half injured, you're not forced to play because you feel like you have no choice. You're letting your teammates down. I've been an advocate for that, and I understand the attrition. They've done it with quarterbacks. You can dress a quarterback, the third-string quarterback. So, they just, naturally, everybody knows who the quarterbacks are, so they don't want to have a receiver playing quarterback. They thought, that's not good. It could affect teams, and they may not make the playoffs, and you got to do that. So that's kind of the only position that they've kind of expanded when you're talking about activate and deactivate only if needed.
Only that one.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to get there, but if they continue to add games, I would assume, which you should never do, but they have to increase at least how many guys can be active on game day, which means then increasing rosters, as you mentioned.
Speaking of injured players for the Titans, this came out about 30 minutes ago from Jeremy Fowler. Titans are planning to decline fifth-year option for Caleb Farley. So it's official. I figured we all kind of knew that was going to happen. But
it just became official.
I forgot that was even
a thing. That could be a thing.
I didn't even think about that being a thing that could be a thing.
I'm just hoping he can be healthy enough to be a backup corner. That's what I'm hoping. I want good things to happen to this guy, man. I mean, golly, man. It's so many bad things that happen to this guy, from his own to his personal, his family. Man,
losing his parents.
You got to be cheering for this guy. 2 ACLs, 2 backs. I mean, man, come on.
Well, we'll certainly see what happens to him. I'll be interesting to see when training camp starts. What's his status? Does he roll out there day one ready to go? Or is he on some kind of non-football injury list? Is he 100%?
Very true.
Just what he looks like will be interesting to see. So going back to discussion earlier, here's the current wide receiver crop of the Titans. D-Hop, Ridley, Burks, Phillips, Dowell, who's coming back from a knee injury, Kinsey, NWI, Kearis Jackson, Trey Harrison, and Jaquan Jackson. Those are all the guys. So if we're working with 6 as a number, let's just say 6 because that's a nice, easy number.
So the Bengals' initial 53 last year was 6 wide receivers. The 9 that I said was for the entire year.
Total usage.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say 6. That seems like a nice, reasonable number. So D-Hop, Ridley, there's 2. Burks, Phillips, NWI, that's 5. So that leaves a spot for Jaquan Jackson. Do they want him to be the return man? Do they want Kearis Jackson? The Jacksons just going to battle for it?
Oh, well, the Jackson that got drafted is going to have a nod just because he was drafted.
Yep, by this administration for sure. So if one of those guys holds on as the 6th guy, he'd be active because he's the return man on game day. And we don't know. Maybe Kearis Jackson makes some huge jump into the rotation this year, but we haven't seen anybody on the field yet. And he ended last year's, when we looked it up before the show today, ankle injury. Mm-hmm. So we never really saw much of him. So Diop and Ridley are not going anywhere. Brian Callahan was asked this offseason about the receiver position and possibly bringing people in. He brought up the slot explicitly. He brought up Phillips and Kinsey and NWI. Those are the 3 guys that he mentioned. So if you're Boyd, you visited the Chargers. We looked through the Chargers roster earlier. There are opportunities there, it would appear.
Mm-hmm.
So
to be more than just a 3.
Yep. So there are opportunities there. Josh Palmer, the former Tennessee Vol, is one of those guys, the big guy from TCU.
Johnston.
Who didn't have a great season last year. It's a first-round pick. I think he was 21st overall. Quentin, yep. So if you're Boyd, you may look and think, man, I got a really good quarterback, and he's got a deal, and he's not going anywhere. So I wonder if it comes down to this. A lot of times guys will sign, and they'll give a reason that they signed, but a lot of times we know it's because of the money. He's made decent money in his career. But, what if he just goes to Callahan, who he knows and he played for all those years, and he says, look, man, they offered me 1 year, $8 million. And I know
incentives.
I know I can play there, and I got some incentives that are makeable. 50 catches, 5 touchdowns, whatever they throw in there. Does Callahan offer him the same money but say, I'll do it for 3 years, knowing it could be a 2? Is that what does it? If you want him, do you think that might be the thing? Because I would imagine the Chargers have the exact same amount of cap space as the Titans.
Right.
So they both have about the same amount. Maybe they have a similar valuation. He may be worth a little bit more to the Chargers because they need experience. Maybe he's worth a little bit more to Callahan because
you want a guy who knows.
He's one guy that I don't have to worry about. He knows the whole offense.
Mm-hmm.
He can teach it to the other guys.
Well, all you cats out there who decide and try to follow the money like you NIL, kids, this is a good example of that. Sometimes the most money ain't always the right spot. Maybe the right spot is the one who shows you, and we know what you can do, and we want you here, and that's where you stay. You take less. These are the lessons need to be learned from NIL guys, because you chasing the money, that sometimes that's not the right way to go. So I think they got a great shot at getting him, whether they offer the amount of money or value it differently or not. So I just want the Titans to win and be successful, and I think he's a great piece who already knows the offense. So I'm all in.
All right.
Quality 3 in this league all day long, and can be a 2 on some rosters. He's just a consistent guy that's producing this league. You need those guys.
Let's say the Titans are signing Tyler Boyd. Let's just say it happens.
For how long?
For 3. Let's just say the 3-year deal.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Tell me if this guy is safe or not this year. So green, yes, they're safe. Yellow, you have no idea. Red, you know that they're in danger. Calvin Ridley.
Well, he's safe.
Bright green. DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, I think you could have even just moved straight past those guys. They would be the safest of the safe.
Traylon Burks. Is he a yellow? Is he a red? Or is he a green?
He's a first-round draft pick. He's got all the tools. You always talk about it. Somebody goes in the first round, man, that means they have all of the tools.
I definitely think he's in the yellow.
All right. NWI, guy they just gave some money to.
They just gave some money to?
Yeah, I mean, he just got a new contract.
For how long?
He had
Was it 1 year?
Was it 1 year? Oh, I thought it was 2 years. That's my bad.
I think so. I don't. That's not no money. NFL standards is maybe look it up there. But I think NWI is a guy you want
1 year, $2 million.
Exactly.
Okay, it was 1 year.
See, yeah,
I got the 1 and 2.
But no, the caveat is it's $2 million.
Yeah,
that means that he's at the bottom, and this guy is somebody. If people get hurt, we know we can get by, and that's where he should be. Mm-hmm. So I think he's valuable. He's yellow, but he's really a green. There's no guarantee in this league for a guy like him. So
he's like that yellow transitioning into a green.
Continually grind and show out.
Yeah.
You get injured in camp, and you give somebody else an opportunity, you lose.
Right,
you're red.
But as we were talking about earlier with him, though, day one you can go. You're on the punt coverage team. Okay, you're on the.
He brings multiple.
Every team
he can do.
Yeah, so he is
values.
So we're saying green for NWI.
I mean, I think for what he can do, he's the guy, your receiver who can play special teams, and not as the return man.
Kyle Phillips.
Boy. I'm a little biased. I like him. I know the history. He's just like there with Burks injuries. I still want to put him. He's yellow, gradually turning to red. I don't want it to be that way, though.
I think if Tyler Boyd's here, it'd be a red for Phillips.
I think he's one more like soft tissue injury or something away from them just saying so long.
Yeah.
Especially if they bring in Boyd.
Yeah,
Colton Dowell.
Oh, he's injured. He's coming off an ACL, right?
Yeah.
I think that's bright red.
I mean, he didn't hurt his ACL till the very end of the season, so they could stash him.
They can put him on IR.
They're going to put him on something, I would imagine,
or something,
so he doesn't have to hurry back.
And then finally, Jaquan Jackson.
I really like what I saw, man, when he was in camp.
How much outside-y do you think he is compared to how much inside-y he is?
Ooh. I don't know, because we never got to really see him in game. We only saw him in practice. So there's a level of, you got to see it live and in action. So until I see it, I think he's definitely, he's fighting for a spot. He's fighting. I mean, he better show everything he got to make the roster. Because you can say he's a returner. Well, they already got the young kid from Tulane, Jackson.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's the Jackson I was talking about.
Oh, I thought you said, who'd you say?
I said
You didn't say Jaquan. You said Jaquaris.
I said Jaquan Jackson.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh.
Jaquaris Jackson was going to be the next one.
Oh, okay. My bad. Yeah, so I got a verse. Yeah, so. Yeah, I think he's a lock, and I think he's a returner. So you can say what you want to say. I don't care what he does. He going to make the roster.
Yeah, Kearis, his deal may be turning red. I wonder how his ankle is. I mean, it's not like they offer injury updates on, players that often. So, all right, let's give away these Preds tickets. We'll come back, finish. I said I would give you guys this. What's the contract situation for Burks? He was a first-round pick a couple of years ago. This is year 3, as Blaine pointed out. So what does this mean for him money-wise? What does it mean for the Titans if they decide to do something? We can tell you that. 615-737-1045. You can jump on the show. But first, here's your chance to jump on the phone lines and win. Caller 5 for some playoff Preds tickets. The Nashville Predators coming back from Game 6 and Round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. We've got your chance to see the Preds when they are at home. Call in. Tell Bananas the craziest thing you'll do for the love of the Preds. We'll pick our favorite 2 to win 2 tickets to Game 6 as the Predators host Vancouver on Friday, 615-737-1045. It's time to give away some Preds tickets.
So many people trust Two Rivers Ford. Football players, working moms, business owners. Why? Because Two Rivers Ford has been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Blaine and Mickey 1045 The Zone. So the Titans receiving room currently consists of several guys that we went through. And maybe possibly Tyler Boyd, who is visiting today. Do they make that decision? The head coach was asked about receivers. He brought up the slot position, said they need a guy that they can count on there. And he's got a guy that he counted on the entire time that he was in Cincinnati. So what does that mean? If you think that means it's the end of Traylon Burks, he was a first-round draft pick. What would that mean cost-wise? The Titans are actually in the start of year 3, Blaine, upside down in his contract, meaning if they just told him today, we signed Boyd, we wish you the best of luck, we're going to cut you loose. Dead cap is $8.5 million. So there's no cap savings. Literally, his dead cap is $8.5 million for this year. That is his pre-June 1st release. If they do anything with him, if they do it after June 1, it significantly reduces the hit. It basically almost evens them up. So I don't know. People always say just trade him. That's the big fan thing. Just trade him. Everybody they don't like. Everybody they don't like. They just say, just trade that guy. Trade him. That's always what people say. I don't know what he would be worth. A pre-June 1st trade for him would be dead cap of $3.8 million, savings of $100,000. A post-June 1st release of him would be 6.5 dead cap this year and 1.9 this year, so it would lessen the number. If they were to trade him, it would be $2 million of dead cap this year, $2 million next year, and they'd save $2 million on the cap this year. So just about anything they would do with him, except trade him after June 1st, would cost them a fair amount of money and not save them much of anything, if at all. I agree with you because we were discussing this beforehand. You said, look, let's just say they decided to cut Burks. Who's the other outside guy? Like, Diop had missed some games when he got to the Titans. He had not been playing full seasons. He was healthy last year. But does that mean he's going to be fully healthy? As Ridley said, when they signed him, I missed that whole year because of, the stuff. But then the year before that, remember, he had missed time the year before that.
Right.
So he kept saying, I missed almost 2 years, and look what I did last year. Let's say that he were to miss some time last year. Burks is probably the guy that you want to run out there. And if it's 6 guys that you got as receivers, I don't know how him as the 6th guy couldn't be one of the 6 guys.
Got to keep him. Got to see what you got him. I think this is kind of a prove-it year for him. So let's just say he stays healthy and he gets, partial playing time outside and giving those guys a break. And he ends up, the season with, 500-600 yards. So now we're making progress. With Tyler Boyd coming in, I just don't know if the opportunity is going to be there for him at all. Someone would actually have to get hurt for that to happen. So it may be still the case, to be honest. So, this you gotta give him one more year under this staff, this crew. See what their offense looks like with him in it, and where they see his value. Now it's going based off of practice. So they may use him and just say, we just want you to stay outside in this offense. It's a new offense. Once you get accustomed to it, this is what we think you are. And he's got to embrace it and say, hey, and go forward. And that's it. You can control what you can control. And that's staying healthy, being in the best shape, and ready to go ball. That's it, man.
So if one of the Jacksons is your return man, that's your, he could be your, is he your number 5 or your number 6 guy on game day? Are you going to keep 6 receivers active? Is everybody going to be active on game day? Would that be the magic number? Because you have D-Hop and you've got Ridley. So that's 2. If one of the Jacksons, let's say Jaquan, because like you said, he got drafted. They obviously like him. Let's say he's number 3. So if they sign Boyd, he's 4. So that's your return man, your slot guy, your 2 outside guys, starters. So would Burks be your other guy? Or is it Phillips? Or is it
NWI?
Or is it NWI? Because, I mean, would you have 6 receivers active on game day?
Well, it looks like that's what they did, right, Bananas?
The Bengals, yes, their initial 53 was 6 on game day.
So I assume in this offensive style, 6 is the number. And one of them's a returner, so he gets a little caveat there. But, yeah. So who are the 6? That's what you're fighting for. You're fighting an uphill battle with the Jackson from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Kenzie's always going to be in a battle. Is he a security blanket? Now they've kind of got a returner, and then maybe Phillips becomes the security blanket for returners if something happens. So I think you're in a good spot, but maybe, as far as the team, as far as depth, but individually, some guys, they're not going to get an opportunity to really showcase if they can stay healthy or not, or how they fit in this offense.
Boyd played all 17 games last year. He had 98 targets. He had 67 catches for literally 667 yards. He averaged 10 yards a catch. Exactly. He had 2 touchdowns. That was the fewest touchdowns he had scored since his second year in the league. He scored 1 as a rookie, 2 in his second year, then 7, 5, 4, 5, 5 again, then 2 last year. He has been a pretty consistent guy for the Bengals. He had a couple 1,000-yard seasons in 18 and 19, but since then he's averaged 800, almost 800, and then last year a little under 700. So maybe a little bit of a decline, but.
And that was with Chase out. I think he missed 4 or 5 games? Jamar Chase with the Bengals because he had that hip.
Well,
deal.
that was with Joe Burrow out too. They were playing
so Higgins
the backup
became the guy. So he was really a 2 half of the season probably, or somewhere 6 games or so. So yeah, so you got to look at that too. Good point.
Well, news will be breaking soon enough. And he's a vet. He's not pressed to make a decision, but I would imagine if the Titans want to sign him, maybe they get it done before he leaves. But we'll all find out. Here's the thing. Still here, still visiting. Don't know how long the visit is. No one has reported that, but certainly if anything happens, you'll hear about it right here on The Zone. But right now it's time for us to get out of here.
But in the meantime.
In between time.
Peace.